What up, world? Big Prophet here, Prophet Jewel today. Okay, this one's important. Let's get right into it. This one's all about bias. Alright, so first thing about bias, everybody's got bias. Everybody is biased. Everything that happened to you in your life made you biased. Every single experience that makes you an individual is bias. You know? If you were born a man, that's a bias. Born a woman, that's a bias. Any experience, your age, your race, where you were born, where you grew up, every single experience creates a bias. You know, so what is a bias? It's a predisposition, psychological predisposition. So you already got skin in the game. You're already leaning in one direction. You're already rooting for one team over the other. So that's what all of us do, you know? And the more aware we are of our bias, the more objective of a choice we can make. But as long as we are unaware of our bias, we'll keep repeating the same mistakes and we won't learn anything. We'll be the same. You know how they keep saying old dogs can't learn new tricks? It's because they're stuck in the bias. They're stuck in the way of living that they've been used to. And they don't want to change. So we're all stubborn, you know. Once we learn something that works for us, we want to keep going with it. But there's many types of bias. There's a confirmation bias where the only information you will listen to is the information that confirms what you believe already. There's an anchoring bias where the first piece of information you got or you get, you'll let that outweigh any information that comes afterwards. So these types of biases limit our understanding. They limit our growth. That's how powerful it is. You know, they talk about Socrates like he was one of the wisest men that ever lived. But if you hear about the type of things he would say, he said he knows nothing. And that's true wisdom. Like we were talking before on one of the Prophet Jewels about subjectivity and objectivity. Now you are the subject. If you only think about what applies to you, that's subjective thought. Objective thought is what applies to everybody and everything around you. What's true across the board. Now, really think about it. This is the next level of objectivity or being or less biased. Is when you start to question where you got your information from, where you got your understanding from. Who taught me this? Where did I hear this idea from in the first place? Is that true? Is it factual in the first place? Is that an objective truth or is it a subjective truth? Was it tainted by somebody's subjectivity or bias? These are questions we have to ask ourselves with every piece of information that we get. And we don't do that. Now you look at Socrates. This guy probably had more knowledge than most of the people around him. But he questioned every piece of information he got. And every piece of information that was presented to him, he questioned it. And that's wisdom. You understand? It's not about how much you know, it's about how much you think and how much you question it. You know, you can know all the things. They could fill your head up with knowledge and information. But if you can't scrutinize it, you're an educated fool. You haven't learned how to think. We have a lot of educated fools out there that haven't learned any discernment whatsoever. They haven't scrutinized any of the information they have. You got people that are dead set against one another because they haven't tried to open their mind up to a different set of opinions. You know, so many problems in the world that we have today is because people are stuck in their biases. They're stuck in their understanding and they won't question nothing. They won't question themselves. You know, how can we grow? How can we become a better human being, a better society if we never question anything? We don't question ourselves. We're out of control if we don't question ourselves. You know? And that's what we have as a society today. We just keep following the same rules that was given to us and keep perpetuating the same foolishness. When are we going to stop? When are we going to slow down? When are we going to ask questions? I mean, maybe everything you've been taught, maybe it's not the objective truth. I could guarantee it's not the objective truth, but that's a question you should ask yourself. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe I should look at this a little more rationally. Maybe when someone tells you you're wrong, give them a shot to prove you wrong. Know what I mean? Listen, and maybe you can learn something. And that's what we all have to do right now. We all have to learn, because this world is changing quickly, and we have to adapt. The old ways are done. The old world is done. The new world, it's going to take some objective thought. It's going to take some creativity. It's going to take some listening, learning, and growing. You can't grow if you stay in your biases. If you stay in your own understanding. You have to learn from other people. You have to learn from other perspectives. Like simple and plain, look at something as like Africa. What do I know about Africa? All I know is either what's been on TV or what people told me, maybe what I've read. How much of it is true? How much of it is objectively true? You know, like how do you scrutinize the information that you take in? When I learned about biases, I had to be real with myself and realize, like, shit, everything I learn might not be the truth. Every single thing I know, or what I think I know, might not be the objective reality. And that's when you start thinking. That's when you start learning and developing the tools of thought. When you question everything you know. And then you could look at the new information. Like, the media knows this. They know that you have an anchoring bias. They know you have a confirmation bias. Politicians know this. Political parties know this. They know that once you hear something you like, and they keep pressing that button, you'll keep supporting it. You'll wrap your whole identity around it. You'll wrap your ego. And if anybody challenges this thing that you wrap your ego around, you'll go to war with them. You'll argue with them. You'll fight and maybe kill them. You understand? That's the type of shit that comes with bias. That's the type of shit that comes with willful ignorance. And that's what that shit is about. I mean, people get wrapped up in the religion. People get wrapped up in the political parties. It's all the same shit. And your ego feeds into it. And I'll touch back on ego later on another jewel. I got a whole bunch of jewels for y'all. Because right now, a lot of things are changing and we got to look at the world differently. And these jewels, I hope, will help you do that. Because they help me do that. So I challenge everybody to be more objective in their thoughts. Learn about biases. There's hundreds of different biases that they had labels for, that they came up with names for. And there's many more. Every experience makes you an individual, makes you different than the next person. It makes your perspective different. And these are biases. Everything, every idea, every thought that makes you an individual is a bias. Every experience is a bias. It's all tied up. So let's be real about this. We need to learn, we need to change, we need to grow. Let's not be stuck in our ways. And let's not have our children stuck in our ways. This world needs to change. All of it needs to change. Let's start with ourselves. Let's start with our understanding. Okay? That's how we change the world. We change our mind first. We change how we look at the world. And we learn ways to change it. We'll see the ways to change it. I mean, too many people are lost. We're stuck. We're stuck in these traps, these revolving doors nonstop. It's all in our mind. It's all in your mind. That's why Prophet Jewel will show you the power of the mind. Watch out for the bias. Peace.